Springing into action is going to cause a shift in your life. So if you're not ready to shift, you probably don't want to spring into action because it's going to be a huge awakening. Springing into action. So it is now March the 3rd. And if y'all don't already know about this, this is how the new year is actually supposed to be brought in. This is when the new year actually begins. It is in the springtime. The new year does not begin January the 1st. Doesn't really make sense. January the 1st, everything is dead. Everything is going into hibernations. The animals are hibernating. Well, like the bears and stuff like that. Trees are falling. Not trees, excuse me, so sorry. Leaves are falling. And so that's really the time we were supposed to be digging deep down inside of ourselves, soul searching and trying to figure out what it is that we wanted to do with our life and with ourselves. Now that the new year is here, spring, so now that that's here, all the work that you have been doing on yourself throughout the winter months when we were inside of the house and just really diving deep inside of ourselves, now we're supposed to be springing into action and executing on all of those things. So that's why around this time of year, everybody feels refreshed, everybody feels excited, they want to come outside, they want to pop out. And so that's why. It's because it's the new year now. Now it's time to bring to life all of the things that has been brewing deep down inside of you. The main thing that I want you to ask yourself on this call today is how am I going to execute on the things that has been brewing deep down inside of me? What is it that you are going to have to do to really put your foot on the ground and just push yourself to go? For me, I get excited and nervous. Okay, so what I had to find out about excitement and nervousness is that they actually are the same feeling. One of them just kind of causes anxiety a little bit, and then the other one is just complete joy and just ecstaticness. Whenever I get ready to go out on the stage and speak, I always feel jittery, nervous, but I have to remind myself that's just my excitement. Like, I'm excited, but it's just manifesting inside of my body in a totally different way. So whenever I open up my mouth and I finally say a word on the microphone, it pretty much goes away, but that feeling is still there. So you may have that feeling whenever you're getting ready to do something new and unknown to you. It's unknown because you've never done the thing, so you're not sure what it's going to cause, what kind of reaction it's going to cause in your life, how it's going to spill over into your relationships. You're not sure how the people around you are going to react to this new you or this new thing that you are doing. So it's like you kind of get excited, but at the same time, you're nervous because you don't know what's about to happen, what shift is about to happen. So, one of the key things to prepare yourself for springing into action is that game plan, that routine that we talked about last week. When we talked about going back to the basics, yeah, that routine that you went back to, time to execute on that even further. If there's something you've been unsure about, this is your time to just go ahead and do the thing. For me, I was unsure about starting a new website, about really going deeper into motivational speaking because I was torn between trying to make time for it. But something about when spring came, I was like, honey, you want to do this thing. So I got all my online stuff together for my fitness. So I have an online fitness program now. That way I'll be able to have more time to go to speaking engagements, and I cut down my hours and set up some boundaries around my business and around myself so that I can show up as a better mother, as a better speaker, as a better trainer. I'm just trying to give everybody attached to me a better experience. And what I had to realize is that everything and every person inside of your life that's closely connected to you or within reach of you is a reflection of you. And I know this is like, some of you may have heard this before. But for me, it really hit home because inside of our mind, we create these beliefs about ourselves. We create these beliefs about our environment. We create these beliefs about what can and cannot happen to us and for us. So whenever we have those beliefs, It's like this: people around you are going to show you what you believe to be true because your perception is going to be different. So, whenever you change the lens of what you're seeing, the people that you usually connect with, you're going to see them differently. You're going to see opportunities differently. Everything that you see is going to be different. Our mind is where we hold our beliefs. And when we have an idea or we have a thought, we see it not with these two eyes right here, but we first see it inside of our mind. Our imagination is everything. Everything starts in your mind. And when you close your eyes and you dream at night, you see images and pictures, but you're not seeing them with this eye, you're seeing it with the eye inside of your mind. So when we're springing into action, it's really important that we clear up the vision inside of our head so that we can see with our eyes what's going on outside of us and what opportunities we need to hop on outside of us. We don't see with these two eyes. These two eyes is just a tool that our mind is using to help us project what we want for ourselves in this outside realm. It's a tool. Just like our ears, you hear me talking, but there's also a voice inside of you that speaks. And you can hear inside of you and you hear outside of you. So those voices that we hear inside of us are our own voices. They're the voice of God, the voice of our higher self. And there's other voices in our head that people have placed in us, different thoughts, different ideas, and opinions that they place inside of us. And it gets really hard to clear out those voices and become super focused on the really important ones, like your higher self and the voice of God, and just getting all those divine downloads if we don't clear it out. So, another major thing that's going to help you spring into action is clearing out those voices by meditating. And I know y'all probably tired of me saying it, but it works wonders. If you're not ready to fully meditate, if you could just turn on some relaxing music and just sit in your bedroom or just turn it on in your house and just walk around your house and experience that sound, experiencing that frequency. It's amazing how powerful music is for our body and for our soul, mainly for our soul. Music speaks to our soul. So that's why it can move us energetically so many ways. And one thing about getting up the ambition and getting up the courage to spring into action is to actually feeling emotionally intertwined and emotionally moved by the thoughts and the feelings and the desires that you have, so that it gives you that extra push to go out there and do it. But before we can push and go out there and do it, we got to quiet that inner critic. We got to clear up the vision that we have inside of our mind so that our eyes can see the opportunity outside of us. And in order for us to do that, praying, meditating, that's what it's going to take. It's simple, but if you haven't started doing it, when you do it, you're gonna feel totally different, and it's gonna be like, I could have been doing this all along. I could have been manifesting so much faster. I could have been healing so much faster, and it's just like, wow, that's how I feel. Your body is like an animal. We talked about this last week. The body is like an animal. You gotta force it to do the thing that you wanted to do because it's stubborn now. Your body is stubborn now. When your body gets set up in a routine and you try to interrupt the routine that your body is used to, especially if it ain't got comfortable, you can put up a fight. Your body will start trying to send messages inside of your brain saying, hey, stop that. Hey, I don't want to do that. Ugh, I don't feel like it. It's crazy. But the thing about growing is you have to become weaker before you get stronger. That's why going on a fitness journey helps people to see that about themselves. Whenever you start lifting these weights, you're gonna get weaker. You're gonna be so sore. You're gonna be like, why did I do this to myself? But a couple of days, a couple of weeks later, you'll notice you're stronger. You're pulling up that same weight with less effort. Your body gets weaker before it gets stronger. Just like when you start detoxing your body is cleaning itself and it's healing itself. But before you can get the result of the healing, you got to go through this purging stage. You got to go through this stage where your body is just getting rid of all of those toxins, and you're going to have some withdrawals, some sugar withdrawals, some food withdrawals. I mean, you're going to go through a mess before you get to the other side of that healing. God shows us this in so many areas and cycles in our lives, since all we have to do is apply the principles, those same principles. We have to apply those to all areas and aspects of our lives. So whenever we have that negative thought, like, you can't do this, whenever your body starts talking to you like, this is too hard, this is too much, I'm overwhelmed, just stop it, just stop now, just quit so I can be comfortable. You have to reassure your mind, this is just the principle of life. Wherever you have intention, destruction is going to follow. If you intend to become better, there's going to be some destruction in your life so that you can make way for the new you. Just like the examples I just previously told you, whenever you intend to cleanse your body, you're going to have to go through a withdrawal process. That withdrawal process is the destruction. The destruction that's there to tear up everything that's in your way to make room for you to grow. Whenever you decide to work out and get stronger, okay, the intention is to do that, but you're going to have to go to some destruction in the process. And the destruction is you feeling weak, you feeling like your legs can barely move, you can barely sit on the toilet, your back hurts, you can barely bend down and pick your child up, or the arms feel like they're about to fall off, you can barely hold on to the steering wheel. That's the destruction. But next week, you're going to be a whole new animal. You're going to be a whole new beast. You're going to be a level stronger than yourself. So always remember that while you're springing into action. Every time you intend to become better, there's going to be some destruction, but that's just a principle that we have to realize, that's a part of this life that we're living in. I had that realization, and an amazing man named Myron Golden talked about this on one of the podcasts that I listened to. And when he said that, I was like, wow, this answers the problem that I've been having with myself. I knew it, but the way he broke it down made it really hit home for me. I said, golly, no wonder every time I feel like something good is about to happen, something gets in my way. I'm like, golly, no wonder every time I decide to become better, something happens. And that's the answer to that. There's destruction wherever intention follows. Another thing I want you to realize today is whenever you intend to do something, especially when it comes into springing into action, we're talking about springing into action, Queen, so I'm going to keep on saying it. Whenever you're thinking about springing into action, there's going to be some moments where you have distractions. Distractions are all around you, they come up. Another thing that I learned was that whenever you put intentions on the thing that you really want, the goal that you really want, there's going to be some things that try to get in your way, but you got to put your blinders up. You got to stop focusing on the outside things, and you got to really pay attention to that one thing. When you pay attention to that one thing, the distractions are not as big, and you keep it moving. The only difference between the people in this world who are the most successful with life, with business, with relationship, anything they set their mind to, is that whenever they set their mind to do it, they put the intention on it, they put the focus on it, and they let go of the distractions. Something else that I learned was the reason why a huge percentage of the people who don't have what they want is because they are not focusing on the intention of what they want. They're focusing on the distractions. They're focusing on blaming other people. They're focusing on all kind of stuff that really has nothing else to do with them. But that energy that they're putting on focusing on the distraction is the same energy that they should be putting on focusing on the intention and focusing on the thing that they need to have for themselves. One great example that I love about that is the celebrity world. There are some people who are obsessed with celebrities, what they got going on, the hottest drama, all the music and stuff they coming out with, all the relationships who they laying in the bed with. These people don't know nothing about you. They don't care nothing about you. They're living their lives. They're focused on doing what they want to do to become better. They're not worried about anybody else. And they're successful at doing it. And the reason why they're successful is because they're focusing on the intention and the goals that they set. But we are becoming, well, not we, some people are becoming distracted by their intention. So they start talking about all the things that they're doing, but they're not doing what they need to do for themselves. Another example would be like sports. For football fans, hope I'm not stepping on anybody's toes. But whenever you have somebody who's so big into sports and stuff like that, and their life is in shambles, the money's not where they need to be, the mindset's not where it needs to be. But you know everything about a football team and when they're supposed to play and how many scores and all this and that. Like that player, that star football player, intended to be a great football player. They intended to become great so that they can have the goals and dreams and the life that they desire to live. In the process of them focusing on becoming better, the distraction, we got distracted by their intention, if that makes sense. So they started becoming better, and everybody else in the world who is obsessed with that started worrying about what they were doing instead of worrying about what they need to do for them. So it's like this person who put the intention out into the world became a great football player and didn't worry about the distractions, but everybody else who's supposed to be worried about them got caught up in somebody else's intention, and it caused them to be distracted so that they couldn't fully work on them the way that they needed to. I'm just writing this up to give y'all examples of how things are getting can get in your way and can distract you. And you'll be amazed. In the process of you healing and you becoming better, the intentions that you put for your goals, your intention can become somebody else's distraction. So when you intend to become better and people start talking about you, they're being distracted by your actions, by your goals, but in reality, they need to be focusing on theirs. So just becoming aware of this and how this shows up in our lives is going to help us push ourselves to become even better. I fell victim to doing this. I get on TikTok and I will do the infinite scroll with my thumb. A content creator's intention to put content into the world and to educate me is great. But if I have no boundaries around my time, if I have no boundaries around my schedule, I will become distracted by the intention of someone else, educating me in this world, and I won't execute on what I need to execute on. So that goes into the next tip is to have boundaries. Boundaries is essential for springing into action. Some people are going to rattle the fence of your boundaries. And if they rattle the fence of your boundaries, I'm going to need you to hold on to that fence. I'm going to need you to not give in and not break. Because as soon as you break, they're going to feel like they can do that all the time. And but not only that, you have to look at what is happening to you on the inside of you. You're going to look at you different. You're going to doubt your ability. You're going to love you less because you're going to say you don't care about me. This is what this voice inside of your mind is going to say. You don't really care about me. You let this person do this to you. You let this person talk to you like that. You let this person take advantage of you. You keep on trying to do this, and this person don't even care, and you don't care because you're not stopping it. You're just letting it happen. If you decide to set a boundary, hold on to it and see how much respect you have for yourself. Everybody outside of you, like I said before, is a reflection of you. It's a test of how you feel about you. It's a test of the way that you view yourself. Everybody love to say, show people how to love you by loving yourself first. And that's real. And I really didn't understand it until I started implementing it. And the more I implemented it in my life, the less stress I had and the more free I became. Does that make sense? Do y'all have any questions about anything that I just said? I know I said a mouthful. Anybody got anything they want to add on to? Okay, I'll keep going. So yes, um, real quick for me, like I said, I felt more free when I decided that I was gonna put some boundaries in place and I was gonna love myself differently. And when I said to myself, I'm not gonna wait on somebody to take a picture of me to tell me how beautiful I am. I'm just start taking my own pictures and hyping myself up. One call we talked about loving ourselves and loving our body. So I want to touch bases on that because I don't want you to forget this. And for anybody who's new on this call, in order to spring into action, you got to make sure you fill up your own cup. And what I mean by that is you got to really show you that you are worth this thing. You have to really tap into your beliefs. And if you believe that you are not worthy of the goals that you have set for yourself, then you're going to get in your own way. You're going to be your biggest critic. You're going to be your biggest distraction. You're going to have some self sabotaging habits that's going to piss you off and frustrate you. You're going to be like, why am I doing this? Why is it that I can't just get this thing done? It's because you don't believe in yourself. And in order for you to believe in yourself, you have to start doing small things to prove to yourself that you can keep your own word. That when you tell yourself you're going to do something, you're actually going to do it. You're not going to allow your body, this animal like body, to convince you not to do it because your body has become so comfortable with the normal. You're going to force yourself to be uncomfortable, but there's levels to it. So, for example, if you believe that you want to have a nicer body, but every time it's time to go to the gym and work out, you convince yourself to stay at home. You convince yourself that the weather ain't right. You convince yourself that your kids just don't have a babysitter, so you can't do it. You're gonna feel some type of way about you. And at that moment, you're focusing on the distraction. Those are distractions. I ain't gonna call them excuses. They're distractions. So whenever you do that, take a moment and ask yourself, what can I do right now to make it happen regardless of what's happening? You have to always ask yourself that. What can I do to make it happen regardless of what's happening? Because everything is not happening to you, everything is happening for you. They say be careful what you pray for. You pray to become stronger, so you're going to be placed with some opportunities to become stronger in situations that come up in your life. You pray for more clarity, so whenever you get situations that seem confusing, you're going to have the opportunity to clear them up and to have more insight and more clarity about the vision that you have for yourself. You pray for patience, so you're given opportunities to become more patient with some frustrating situations. When we pray, we don't just get what we want, we get the opportunity to grow to the level that we want to go to. It's a growing and evolving process. So whenever you have those thoughts about your fitness journey and you come up with a solution, bingo, you feel real good about you. This is you loving you. Now when somebody tells you they're not going to do something for you, you're probably not going to care as much because you can depend on you to make it happen anyway. Whenever you tell yourself you're gonna get something done, it's gonna happen anyway. You also have to be real with yourself and realize where you are at in this moment and in this season of your life. If you're not ready to fulfill a big promise, don't tell yourself you're going to. Don't do that to you, please. It's gonna make you feel bad when you don't do the thing that you said you're gonna do. If you have a big promise, a real huge commitment that you're trying to commit to, create a strategy around how you're going to make that happen, but make that strategy realistic to you. Don't make it cute and don't make it sound good because you know this is what you should do. Make it real for you. For example, this is just something simple. I know I want to be able to do a pull up without using that thick resistance band as a bottom. That's a huge commitment that I've committed myself to for like a couple of years now. I still ain't been able to do it. But see, I know I'm not going to promise myself that next week when I go out in the gym that I could just do a whole pull up on that thing. I'm not going to promise myself that what I'm going to do. I'm going to be strategic and I'm going to work towards that goal. And every single week, I'm going to try to get a little bit stronger until I can get there. This way, whenever I do, let's just say next week, I do decide to go out there and try to pull up on this pull up bar without the resistance man, if I don't do it, I'm not gonna beat myself down about it and feel like I'm a liar and all this other stuff and a failure because I can't do what I said I'm gonna do. I'm gonna say no. I told myself I was gonna work towards it and I put a strategy in place to get a little bit better. Tying this back into the emotions. You told yourself you was ready to let go of a relationship that wasn't good for you, but you keep on letting that person hurt you and stab you in the heart, then stab you in the back. And that's got you feeling some type of way about you. I've been there too. Got you feeling some type of way about you. So now, instead of committing to leaving this person, you didn't do that. Since you didn't commit to leaving that person after they did the thing that you said you was gonna leave, if they did again, you stayed in that relationship, yeah, it got you feeling some type of way about you. But if you are more real with yourself, if you know yourself better, you would say to yourself, okay, I'm not gonna leave if he does this or if she does that because I know my heart, I know I'm not ready to. I'm going to create a game plan to try to figure out how to strengthen my communication skills. I'm gonna allow this environment, I'm gonna allow this situation to help me become more patient, to help me become more loving. So the next time they do this, instead of leaving or getting mad, I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna reflect on myself. You put a strategy like that in place, and let's just say they do something hurtful and backstabbing to you again, And you think about what you said in the past, you like, darn, they did it again. I told myself I was gonna leave if they did this thing again. But here I am, they did it again, and I'm still here. That's okay. Because you're not going to say that to yourself. You're going to say, I have a strategy, and you're going to execute on the strategy that you put in place. So whenever they do that thing, you're going to say, okay, well, they did that thing. So this is now my opportunity to strengthen the love that I have for myself, to strengthen my communication skills. I'm not going to leave until I know that I've adapted what I needed to adapt in this relationship to move forward and to become better in my life. A lot of times while you're springing into action, you're going to feel like, why is this happening to me? But instead of asking yourself, why is this happening to me? Once again, ask yourself, how is this happening for me? How is this going to better me? What can I see in this situation that I can use to make my life better? How can I grow from this? Life is like a cycle. Every time you go through a situation and you pull out too soon, God is going to throw you that same situation again with different faces, different environment, but you're going to have the same problem. And it's going to be like, shoot, I keep having the same problem no matter where I go, no matter what I do. It's because you haven't learned how to grow past it yet. So until you figure out how to grow past it, you will be stuck with the same cycle of problems. That's why they say break chains. We have to be chain breakers. We have to break these chains off of our mind, break these chains off of our body, and break these chains off of this reality that we have created for ourselves. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to feel like you can't do it. But remember what I said in the beginning of the call, where there is intention, there's destruction. So if you can just remember that, okay, this is a principle of life. In order for me to grow, I'm going to have to get a little weaker. In order for me to get to where I want to be, I'm going to have to go through some destruction. And you will feel a little bit of peace in your mind about what's happening to you, because it's not happening to you, baby. It's happening for you. And that will give you what you need to spring into action.